So today I'm going to show you how to turn the King's Bork into your own variation of the King's Bork and how to get this particular animation or this particular chord. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go into my King's Bork and copy the files and paste them into a new mod I created for the circuits, for the purpose of this tutorial, for the circuits as well. Next, I'm going to grab the background image that I want to place in the back of my chord. Now I'm going to open up my files that I need to edit. First off the GUI, and then second the shared portraits. But before that, I'm just going to go ahead and edit my background to match the picture that I just dragged in. And so that's right at the beginning. You can also do this with background and then do texture, but I did icon just in case you want to place something in the back of your background, such as, let's say you had an image and then you had some cutouts because you wanted to put something animated in the back, or you wanted to change the texture or something. You can do a cutout, put an icon behind that icon to kind of, show something different, get some personality in there. So this is what it looks like when you import it in, and then let me go over the portrait first. First, I'm going to go over some of the portraits. This is the portrait size, portrait button. So this is where the actual character is. Anything you want inside of the portrait, you put in here. So this is the template for it. This is going to be the size, the width and height of the portrait you want. Portrait texture, so character get animated, so you get the animated one. This section is the lighting. If you have any question as to any of these, you can check the portrait editor and you can get any kind of lighting you want. I'm just using the generic environment body. This next section is the camera. You can get as many cameras as you want thanks to the full screen barbershop. We have the rotations. So you did a very good job of creating 30-degree rotations. So I think you can go plus 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, and then negative 30, negative 60, negative 90, negative 120, negative 150, but not negative 180. That's because there's already a plus 180 into the same things. So you can use that to rotate around. This next section is what portrait animation you want to be the base. Normally it's set to idle. You set to the actual animation you want here. And I'll show you where these are in a second. This next part is important. I'm using this mask, portrait mask character view, because this gives you the complete character and doesn't cut off their feet. That's why I'm not using the generic portrait body that they created. This is the Paradox version portrait mask body that cuts off the feet. As you see, they're using the idle because they have different animations within the idle, and they change animations by using flags. As per, I want a specific portrait for this character because I know this character is my Spy Master. Okay, so inside portraits, portrait animations, this is where the barbershop portrait animation file is. If you look here, you have idle, and then you have all these inside here. That's because you add a flag or you add a trait, it automatically does the pose. But I'm going to come all the way down. So these are the ones that I created, these portrait animations here. The throne, this is just him sitting down. Or you can add a flag that makes him sit down by using the flag throne. But you can choose any kind of animation you want. You just got to put this whole name inside of that portrait. Or you can leave it idle and do it by the flags. Idle just means they're just doing nothing. They're doing whatever their default pose is until you add a flag. And since I wanted specific poses for the members inside, this is why I used specific animations. So what I'm doing now is I've come down to my Portrait to Court 7, which is my king, my main character, and I'm going to be adjusting the rotation to fit the chair. Now at the beginning it looks like I didn't see the main throne chair. I was just kind of putting him to the correct rotation of the chair to his right. So I do that, but I go back and correct it. But yeah, so with the cameras, you want to make sure that the position for the portrait, court 7, and width and height, put him in the correct spot, and then you go into the portraits.gui to make sure he has the right rotation and size. So by using this trick, this combination of position, size, and rotation, you can create camera effects that make it look like the person's actually sitting in the chair and it's a 3D environment. Really, it's just a 2D environment. As you can see, I am just editing his position until he looks like he is over a chair. And this is the section where I'm actually putting him in the wrong chair. But yeah, you get the point. So the X and Y is controlled by position inside there, and then you just put him in the correct position. And the portrait controls the right size and rotation. I'm going to fiddle for this. I'm going to fiddle with this for a bit. Going and ensuring that I have the right size. So the further they are back, the smaller the character is actually going to be. So that's the combination of width and height in the portrait and the portrait button itself to ensure that they're the right size for the distance that they are away. Now that we have the correct rotation. After I done the king, and now I'm going to do the primary spouse and ensure that I have her in the right position, because she is going to be in the chair to the left of the throne. This is where I kind of mess up and go to go back to the king. So I got the right rotation on the spouse here, but yeah, this is where I accidentally go into portrait. I go back into the king, edit him. I decide to put him in the right spot after all. so at this point I notice she's in the right spot, but she's idle. So I'm going to change her to throne, so that way she's sitting down. Because in the last picture, there was only one chair, so only the king was sitting down. And so now, make sure that she's sitting down and she has the right rotation to match the background that I put in here. So I think now I go into the air, do the air, which I believe is portrait 4, core 4, and I go and sit him down in the correct chair as well. Chair to the right. There we go. So there's a visibility statement in there, and in this case, the primary heir is also the chancellor. So inside of the court positions, I made sure that the visibility is set so that we don't have two of the same person in the same court at the same time. I also noticed that I don't need the flags in this particular scene because this is a diagonal scene and not a straight scene. So I went ahead and disabled all of the COAs, the coat of arms, because I don't really need them for this scene in particular. This is a pretty difficult scene, but it's a long scene, so you can actually get a lot more personality into this scene if you want, but at this time there's no way to, unless you have an image already rotated to the correct position to put it in, then you won't need to do that. Aside from that, it's just moving all the different positions, and it's a lot of trial and error to get the right size and the right rotation to look right in the picture. At this point, something really weird happened. I was editing the chaplain, and I managed to launch 2 instances of the game for some reason. I don't know why that happened, but I just straight up launched 2 instances of the game, and I had to go in there and close it. Super weird. Yeah, really from here on out, it's just me going by, and since I wanted to keep the poses for the other members, I just basically went in there and adjusted all their poses. So you can continue to watch, but you pretty much get the gist of it. I made sure that everybody's in the correct position and the right size, and then towards the end, I messed with the person that's going to be coming to the court and ensure that they're correct too. But everything is pretty much easy after that. Know that these portraits, you can go in there and create whatever kind of portrait you want inside of there, and all you can, it's pretty easy to put it in any GUI that you want, just like that. You just got to name it, have the right naming convention, and you can put it in anywhere you want. Alright, I don't think I'm going to say anything else, so just let you watch the rest of this and then show you how I got the final product. So pretty much done here. Just added the last little bit, which is selecting this. When you're reloading this portrait, this last portrait, know that each time you refresh, there's going to be no character on the screen. And that's just for testing purposes. So all you have to do is click on the profile and the person will appear and you'll get to see where they are at kneeling.